Hello, my name is Steve Herman, and I'm the author of Mediumship Mastery, the Ultimate Guide, and this is my book on mediumship training, mediumship development, which is available on Amazon. And if you're into mediumship training and mediumship unfoldment, you are definitely at the right YouTube channel, because that's the whole purpose of my YouTube channel. So definitely smack that subscribe button. I'm going to talk a little bit about bogus mediumship, phony mediumship, fraudulent mediumship. Now, if we get into spiritualism, the spiritualist movement, which is very, very, very big, we might go to a spiritualist center or a spiritualist church and mediums are working. We see a lot of mental mediumship. And sometimes we even have people who are doing physical mediumship. And physical mediumship is pretty awesome because it's not just something that someone intuitively receives and they give it out. The information, they're connecting with the world of the spirit. Subjectively, they're experiencing it. With physical mediumship, you experience it objectively through your 5 physical senses, which is awesome. Everybody there, everyone who's present, will experience the phenomena. So if the medium levitates to the ceiling, well, everyone's going to observe and be aware of that medium actually levitating to the ceiling. And physical mediumship is genuine. It's amazing. You don't really see too much of it. One of the reasons why you don't see so much physical mediumship is because of all the fraud. Because when we get into phenomena, we get into people who want sensation. They want to experience it. And there's a lot of people who want phenomena. They want a spirit message. They want to watch someone go into trance and then channel the Great White Brotherhood. Hopefully they won't be burning crosses on anyone's lawns, but they want to hear from these high masters. The higher masters, the better. So it's like fireworks. People are attracted to all these beautiful fireworks, all the explosions and the colors, and then afterwards they're bored. So physical mediumship shouldn't be boring people. It should awaken people to getting in touch with themselves on a spiritual level, on a deeper level. But if we go back historically within spiritualism, there was much fraud. Much fraud. A very, very important work that was written by Edward Lunt. He was a Boston spiritualist, and he published a 64-page book dealing with this whole issue of fraud within spiritualism. Fraudulent mediumship, scam artists that were involved in this, very much involved in the mainstream spiritualist movement. And this book, which I highly recommend, and it's a book called Mysteries of the Seance. This is not an original copy, this is a reprint of it. And Tricks and Traps of Bogus Mediums. Again, this is written by Edward Lunt. You can get it on Amazon. I highly recommend it because in the 64 pages, he goes through the mental mediumship that was taking place using billets, clairvoyance, right, being able to read sealed envelopes, these types of things, the physical phenomena, the materializations, typewriter mediumship, right, where the typewriter would type by itself, fire tests, where the medium is able to hold the extremely hot object, materialization, independent writing with the slates, trumpet mediumship, independent voice mediumship, the ectoplasm that you can experience, the levitation, movement of objects, all of these different phases of mediumship. Materialization. How many of you would like to see a spirit materialize? Well, if they have sufficient ectoplasm, they can materialize. With the right power, with the right conditions, there are some incredible manifestations that can take place with the spirit world. And it's not a sideshow. It's not really supposed to be sensationalistic either, although it is certainly sensational. So this book, Mysteries of the Seance, I highly recommend you read this. In fact, any of my students out there, I think I'll make this a required reading. Lamarckine put out The Psychic Mafia. We have A Magician Among the Spirits, written by Harry Houdini. And there's some other works too that expose, if we go back historically, books that were authored that expose phony mediumistic tricks. But this book is great because this guy was really involved. He knew the real stuff. It wasn't like he was someone who was skeptical about it in a negative sense, or atheistic or agnostic and just thought this was a bunch of bunk. He was involved in the movement, but he was very much against fraud. And really, we see sometimes people, even if they know it's fraud, they condone it. They think it's completely okay. Or they know it's fraud and then they don't want to challenge the medium because they don't want to come across as being negative. But really, fraudulence, being unethical or dishonest is really very, very, very wrong. And one of our responsibilities as mediums, as instruments for the spirit world, is to be as honest, not just loving, but to be as honest and truthful as possible with in a general sense in our life, but definitely when we're working with the spirit world, we want to have reverence for what's taking place. And, if we examine all of these different methods, people dressing up in sheets and coming out, and it's interesting because mediumship is all very scientific, and the higher personalities in the spirit world, they encourage us to use our intelligence to question them and to question what's taking place. And we know, the idea about testing the spirits to see if they are of God, testing the medium, it's really important. Use your intelligence. That's why God's given it us. But really, if you read this book, I think it's excellent. And it will really give you a very comprehensive and thorough understanding of some of the bogus types of things that went on back in 1903 and certainly before that, throughout the entire era of spiritualism. And certainly some of that same fraudulent, bogus type of mediumship, it still takes place. I've seen it. In the decades I've been involved in spiritualism, certain churches you go, they even keep files on people. Can you imagine that? And then the mediums will share the information with other mediums, this type of thing. So the mediums, of course, then they know which loved ones they're able to bring through. So please smack that subscription to this YouTube channel button below. Subscribe. And if you like this, hit the like button. And if you have questions about mediumship, anything relating to mediumistic development, feel free to ask questions. Feel free to add your 2 cents or comments. I'm really into sharing. I'm really into helping people and working with people this way. So thank you very much, and God bless you.